Happy Thursday, November 10th, 2022. The year of our Lord, ladies and gentlemen. You made it out on a, what is this? Thursday morning, November 10th. My birthday tomorrow. Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you for your service. I know there's a lot of shows out there you can tune into for your morning hot takes. We're the only show that takes pride in our cold takes. You know why? You could burn your lips. You don't want to do that. Lots of stuff to get to today that I planned out for you. If you're watching this on YouTube today, we are doing a free preview. If it's your first time watching Melton in the Morning, if you're joining us on Rokfin, our usual viewers, slowly growing, and I mean slowly. It's depressing being over on Rokfin and doing this show for 3 to 5 people. But, you know, you got to be consistent. You got to do what you love. You got to love what you do. You got to stroke who you know. You got to believe what you grow. So I encourage you, if you want to see the full show today, to head over to Rokfin, ROKFIN.com/NLO. Sign up. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning we do this, anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. And if you know me, the more we do it, the more comfortable I'll get, and the more we'll get loose with it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Bitcoin is crashing on news of some exchange wonkiness. It's kind of funny only because I expect Tom Brady has lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I want to talk about that. Elon Musk is getting more and more shit about stuff he's trying at Twitter. And now the president's getting involved. I want to talk about that. Hot girls ain't what they used to be. There's a new report, and I can prove it. Are we about to be at war with China? China. It's not looking good. Sean Penn acting like an asshole. What Sean Penn only can do best. We're talking about that. Consumer price index numbers are in for October. Every headline you're going to see today is going to tell you that it's looking good. It's better than expected. It's all coming up roses. Thumbs up Biden. I don't know how you can think that unless you're just not into numbers. So we'll take a look at all those. They're doing their usual distracting trick of saying, like, it's only up like 8% year over year, so don't worry about it. And then they're doing the thing where it's like, and, you know, month over month, it's only up like 0.5%. And you're like, yeah, but not things like, what's happening here? I had a floater. Energy and food and stuff are up 100% year over year, but don't worry about it. We'll talk about it all, but I want to talk about the election stuff. Thank you for joining us. Have a coffee. I've got iced coffee. Is that weird? Is it weird as we move into, like, it's cold here in Vegas. I'm hoodied up. Teeth chatteringly cold. And there's something going. I'm going cross-eyed. There's a piece of hair or something. Did you guys see that? Can you see that? Some of the chat does agree with me. Alex Ansel checking in from West Virginia. Thank you. That's great. There's a floater. There's something after me. Jesus Christ. Yeah, somebody in the chat says I only drink iced coffee even in the winter. Yeah, that's me. I can't. I can't do it. Okay, let's get into the stuff for today. Are you taking live calls today? No. What are you doing? What do you have this confused for chainsaw and rigor mortis in the morning? Or whatever your local show is. Okay? Melton in the Morning is a coffee-fueled, tightly knitted, story-driven program. This is a lucky free preview for you people over on YouTube. Thanks for the like, by the way. And I shall not be derailed. Okay. If there's going to be a hair, there's going to be a hair. You know what I mean? Let's just do this. What's going on here? It's crazy. For people who think I'm bald, by the way, the rumors aren't true. This is nonsense. Okay. Fuck. This is not how I wanted my mom to see me start the show today. Sorry, Mom. She's dead. So welcome to the show. It's usually not like this. It's usually not chaotic. You know, I want to become known as one of the most respected journalists of our time, okay? So while people might say, Patrick, I watch your Nobody Likes Onions in the morning. Okay, come on. You know the way to my heart is money. Thank you so much for the dollar bills. It really means a lot. Coming from someone of your stature and source. You've already got me off track today. It feels wrong. It feels bad. I can't be mad about it because you're like throwing money at me. So like that's supposed to make me feel good about myself. None of my stuff's working. Everything's gone wrong today. And the hair's still there. People are going to think all of our hats ship with hair. With free hair or something, you know? Like, oh God, is it in my glasses? Everything couldn't be going worse. Is there even a way to restart this? Alex Hansel says that his sister is not impressed so far. Fuck. It's still there. Okay. I'm being pranked. This can't be. You know. In what world would this be like in a broadcast situation, would this be acceptable? Where a man's combing through his hair and stuff. Like I can't, there's something in my eye that I can't see. You're embarrassing me on Rokfin. Fuck. YouTube is, if you're watching on Rokfin, I apologize. We're usually a very, very serious news program. We like to break the stories in the morning, but someone from YouTube, we're doing a YouTube today, and someone from YouTube has not only donated $10 to the program, which I do appreciate, but they're ridiculing me, they're making fun of me, and now something's in my eye. Okay. I had a show where I rubbed weed in my eye, and now I've got a show where this has hair. Do other broadcasters have these issues? What if this happened to what's a traditional broadcaster that somebody would like? Brokaw? Bert Brokaw. Tom Brokaw, take a 5. We'll wait. Oh, God, you guys. Oh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for waiting. Okay. I do promise we're going to get it on track. This never happens to Tim Pool. What part are you talking about? The part where he takes his hat off and shows off his lustrous hair? You got it's a crime that I wear a hat because I have such good hair, you know. I turn 43 tomorrow. It's barely going gray. So for you to even begin to compare me with Tim Pool, if anything, I'm a cross between Tim Pool, the quartering, Josh Denny, and oh my God. Okay, so before we will get started here on the stories, because I do have stories today. And hell of a lot of them. Anytime I can make fun of Tom Brady, it's great, you know. And I caught the end of that game. I don't watch a lot of NFL, but I caught the end of that Bucs game where they gave him like a minute and a half. You give Tom Brady a minute and a half, it's over. And they're doing awful this year. Okay, so, by the way, and don't get the wrong idea, Rokfin. I'm not one of these sportsmen. Yeah, it's very masculine over here on Rokfin. And if any guys are into wrestling and stuff, I can't, you know, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. People are being really, really supportive now, and I like that. They're saying take a 5. Are you having a stroke? No. I'm fine. Okay, we're gonna be normal. We're gonna get it started. But before we do, I want to just tease tonight. We're going to have a show. We're going to have a live show tonight. It's going to be more shenaniganry than here this morning. So we're going to do some it's serious stuff this morning. Tonight, you're going to want to be on this channel on YouTube, Nobody Likes Onions, and you're going to want to set notification bells and reminders and follow, because we have a show tonight. I haven't even gotten into the one thing I want. There's like 4 things that we got to get into, but like one of them I just got sent this morning, and I haven't had time to really dive into it and research it yet, but it's going to be insane. If this is what I think it is, and I'm 99% sure. Now, again, I've done no research. But I will have it all laid out tonight. I will have proof tonight. I will have the cringe on this one. You're not going to want to miss. If you like Nobody Likes Onions, if you loved our Dan 9 and stuff, if you like our continued coverage of nuts, you're going to want to see what I have for you tonight. I promise you it's going to be great. It looks like we're doing good. I haven't seen a hair in a minute. Now my glasses are dirty, I think, from touching them. Anybody asking what time we're doing tonight isn't paying attention. So we're going to restart the show. We're going to do it real sweet, real nice. And I don't want any attitude this time, okay? Well, I don't want to do a countdown from 5. Do we have to do a countdown from 5? No, I didn't mean to do that. I probably scared half of you. Let's do a real pretend new intro for the show, okay? It'll be like this. Oh, everybody. P Melt in the morning. You gonna be okay? Hi everybody. Welcome to the show. I hope you voted. I hope you really got out there and made your voices known. A lot of butthurt Republicans out there this week wondering what the fuck happened. Everybody was anticipating some giant red wave. If you watch this program, and very few people do, you'll know that I called it a red slap on Tuesday. That's what I said I expected. A red slap. And that's what they got. And, you know, almost everything that was like really thought was going to happen happened. I think a lot of Trump nuts ended up not getting what they thought they were going to get. And the Democrats got a lot of support they didn't really expect to get, nor do they deserve. I don't want to be coy about that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I can't believe that fucking goiter-headed guy Fetterman won in Pennsylvania. That's fucking nuts. That dude, and look, I'm not there. I don't know his politics. I guess he was lieutenant governor. I guess he's a capable, competent man before the stroke earlier this year. But like now that guy, has got like, he's growing like a fucking conjoined twin out of the back of his neck. Like he's visited the island of Dr. Moreau and they've done some sort of experiment on him. And he can't talk. Now, what's crazy is this motherfucker. Now, this is, I don't believe in conspiracies a lot of the time. Vaccine. But he comes out. Fetterman beats Dr. Oz. That's who he's running against, if you don't know. And for people in other countries or who may not give a whatnot, he's running against Dr. Oz. And you're like, where do I know that name? Oh, for the guy from TV. This is a la Trump. You know what I mean? So he's running against Dr. Oz, and it was a tight race. But Fetterman wins. And this just goes to show you, like, I think how dumb. Like, you can just run any bag of Jell-O and, like, really indoctrinated people will vote for it. It's like on the Republican side, like they all voted for fucking Dr. Oz, and on the Democrat side, they all voted for Fetterman. It's like these are two bags of shit. You know what I mean? One of them is like a Trump guy, Dr. Oz, a Trump guy, endorsed guy. One of these election conspiracy guys. Now, look, I'm not saying that there's any sort of election conspiracy at all. I'd be surprised if there wasn't election tampering on both sides all the time. Like just how could there not be? So whenever like a politician comes on or something and they're like, we have the most secure elections or there's no evidence of tampering, it's like there's probably shit tons of evidence of tampering, whether it was tampered with or not. And B, there's probably some tampering. Come on. How could there not be? How could there not be? Let's think about the world we know. And in what world is everybody getting on board with this thing where like, oh God, I don't even know. Let me circle back to this. Because I think it's part of a bigger problem with our election, with the way we do elections here in America. But either way, it's the Republicans didn't get the big fuck you red wave that they thought they would get, and there's a lot of butthurtedness going on out there. Trump is a maniac, and I think people are starting to like get tired of him a little bit. Now, what's interesting is the situation that's set up now because of the way this played out. It's almost like neither party was successful in accomplishing their goal. And while the Republicans may end up taking the House and the Senate from this, which everybody thought was going to happen anyway, it won't be with the magnitude and the numbers that they thought it was going to be. So everybody's kind of in a little bit of a shock here. And it's a two-way shock. So I think what's going on now is DeSantis is clearly like stepped away from Trump and is distinguishing himself from Trump and most likely gonna try or put his foot forward to run for president in 2024. He might not be able to, is the problem. This is the issue. It's almost impossible for the Republican Party at this point to get away from Donald Trump. Number A, he's President Donald Trump. He was a president. So it's hard to, like, on the chessboard of moving pieces that the GOP has to do anything with, he is the king. Now, just like in chess, does that mean he's the most agile and strong player they have? No. As a matter of fact, he's very, very limited. And people are getting tired of him blocking the sun. So you've got DeSantis, she's the queen. And it's getting dangerous. It's getting dangerous, you know. How can they say no to a president? Like it or not, like, this guy has a rabid following of nuts. And I feel like you either risk splintering the party so much if you try to go a different way from Donald Trump, because I don't think Trump is the kind of guy who backs down. I don't think Trump is the kind of guy who steps away. Should he even be rejected by the Republican Party? Do you think he wouldn't run as an independent? A, he has the money. B, he probably doesn't even need it. He's going to get so much coverage from traditional mainstream media that, I mean, because they can't. So it almost doesn't matter who runs against him. I feel like he'll siphon votes away from whatever GOP candidate they throw up. I feel like he could even cause a situation where people who are Republicans who don't support Trump will be fearful of that splintering and abandon the GOP candidate and vote for Trump. I can actually see that happen and us have an independent president in Trump. With the way the Democratic Party is, I don't see that happening, except for what just occurred on Tuesday. What just happened on Tuesday lends itself to a situation now, as Biden's already spoke on just 2 days ago, that Biden could run again. I did a segment on this show Tuesday talking about how it's over. They don't have anybody. AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Beto O'Rourke, Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg. Who do they have? That's their stable. None of those women could win. They're either too dumb or unlikable. Sorry, Kamala. The men, I mean, Beto O'Rourke, how much losing can this guy do? You know what I mean? Lose much? So, if people don't realize that this guy looks like Peyton Manning had a kid with a horse and put him out to pasture where he belongs, I don't know what we're gonna, I don't know what we're even talking about. You can't let this fucking bucktooth motherfucker near an election again. He had to go. It's not even been close, everyone resoundingly is saying no, no, no. It's not like Ryan Reynolds where you kept shoving him down our throat and we were finally like, fine, he's good. This guy has had so many chances. So he's done. Pete Buttigieg is not likable. The only reason he's still on the radar is because he's a Biden appointee. No one elected this guy. He's going to be shit out the bottom of the fucking Chicago beef industry. Sorry, I can't resist. It's a gay thing. Somebody in our chat says Fetterman is good. It's like, oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. No, you're not crazy at all. Adam in the chat says Herschel Walker is patient zero for the worst candidate. He's got CTE times 1,000. 100%. I said this on Tuesday. Like Herschel Walker needs to be home, like with a straw taped to the side of his face playing Madden. Yeah, it's crazy. These are the people they're putting up. Dr. Oz? What's going on? And then like a Macy's parade blimp beats him. John Fetterman, a guy who looks like he has a fucking pillow for an airplane nap sewn into his skin. It puts the lotion on. Fetterman is good. Somebody said, oh. Yeah, so it's fucking game on, man. It's wackadoo city out there. And on both sides. If I don't know if it's enough, and I don't know if we're organized enough as a country to like meet in the middle, but maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it takes us getting so fed up with our own parties that we reject them and we all end up down at a watering hole in the middle where we, come up with another fucking way. Because I do like the I hear my dog barking. Beto for the fourth time is the answer. Yeah. Let's get him in. How about another try? These guys walking around with these shirts that say Beto male. Ugh. Tell me you jerk off to other men's jars of cum without telling me you jerk off to other men's jars of cum. Thanks for the donation. I really like that.
Hello, I like money.
Means a lot coming from Huck Kaczynski, Ted's brother. Beto. Imagine wearing a shirt around that says Beto male. It's like, not only am I definitely on the side of a loser, but it's also a play on how I'm kind of a cuck. Just a weird fucking brag. Furthermore, I'm over here in Nevada, which is the correct way to pronounce that. And we still don't have a clear winner on our gubernatorial race. Now, we do. And it's going to be the Republican Joe Lombardo, who was formerly sheriff here in Clark County, where Las Vegas is. And he's going to beat the incumbent Steve Sisolak, who's the first Democratic governor we've had here in decades. He's going to defeat him probably by 5 to 8 points when it's all said and done. Now they're writing like it's too close to call. But okay, we'll wait. The point is, yesterday we had 77% of the vote in. Is that hair in my eye? And today we have 81% of the vote in. So we got 4% done over the past day, which is ridiculous. And I don't understand what the problem is. The states that are having problems in this midterm election are the same states that had giant kerfuffles in the 2020 election. These are the same states: Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona. These are the same states that had the accusations of the voting irregularities. Now, I was never one of these election denier people. I think it's insane. I think, honestly, there's probably corruption all along the chain on both sides. There's another election going on that we're not even aware of, okay? How could it not be? How could you be a person on this planet meeting the human scum that exists on the planet and not believe this is occurring? We have all these states. They all have different ways to vote. Okay, you can't keep an eye on everything. There's drop boxes, there's mailboxes, there's people who drive this around. A lot of it's volunteers. A lot of these volunteers are part of partisan organizations. So all it takes is a few hundred mail carriers, volunteers, poll workers, people with access and an agenda who have the balls, the cojones, and the opportunity to nudge and do a little bit. Now, that little bit could be throwing away 10 ballots. That little bit could be erasing a thumb drive that, has 100,000 ballots on it. I don't know how any of this works. And the point is, no one does. It's different district to district in some states. It's definitely different state to state. Some people are still poking holes in paper. Some people have Scantron sheets like we all had in high school. Some people, you have to use a complicated combination of a hole punching thing. We've all seen the touchscreens, which can't be calibrated. It's like trying to look up something on a touchscreen 15 years ago. It was near impossible. None of this stuff gets updated to the latest and greatest. How could it not be tampered with somewhere along the chain? The question is it enough to make an impact? I'm sure that it's happening all over the place. There's been a million independent news outlets that have driven to addresses on voter registration forms that don't exist, that have found people who voted who are dead. Like, this stuff happens in every state, every election, all the time. They always go like, there's been no evidence, but they usually say there's been no evidence of widespread voter Right. Okay, so now we're on the same page. Now we have common ground. There's definitely some chicanery going on some level, somewhere. So if there's a guy who's willing to vote for his dead grandma, he's willing to do that. He thinks that'll make a big difference, right? Just one extra vote, his grandma, who died 3 months ago. He's going to vote for her. Who cares? Probably won't get caught, right? Not a big deal. What if that guy is a volunteer at a polling place? What if that guy or his analog happens to be a postal employee with access to a big bin of ballots that he knows came from a mostly Republican county, a mostly Democratic inner city county? Why? If it's that guy who thinks one vote makes a big difference, why wouldn't he take an opportunity to throw out or tamper with thousands if given the opportunity? It's a crime that no one even knows to look for. No one's going to go back and look at the tape and see that guy wheel a thing out of the room or go into a van or drive somewhere and make an extra unscheduled stop and throw away half of his cargo. No one knows what the cargo is. People don't know how many people mailed in ballots. It's almost begging for tampering because there's not really a way to collectively know. So, again, I'm not claiming any kind of specific anything, but just in general, human nature, I think that you'd be lying to yourself a little bit to not believe that there's some sort of fucking around with ballots going on. And the mail-in stuff and the drop-off stuff, while very convenient and you know, everybody in Vegas, everybody in Nevada gets a ballot in the mail. But that also just puts a million ballots out there. And then they do this thing where they're like, well, the ballots take 4 days to count. The mail-in ballots take 4 days to count because we got to verify signatures, which I guess they go back and check the signature on your voting card with the signature on your voter registration. But this will be like in places where they say like you don't need an ID to vote. So it's like, it's hard to tell what's going on and who wants what. But I think given the world we live in 2022 and how easy this could be with the advent of the internet, smart devices, QR codes, links, secure encryption, there's a way to do this. Countries do it. Countries that want free and fair elections do it, you know, and we have to do it. We do this thing where it's like, no, we've privatized it. We get these companies like Diebold and what are they? Intrigue and Armor System. I don't know what the fuck. All the companies that make all these voting machines. They're like clunky, briefcasey machines that like, oh, they're offline, except it goes to a master counter that then connects to a server that goes to a. It's like, what's going on? You know, this like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shit. Why? There has to be a better way to do this. And even when like how is Florida 98% counted, you know, by 11 p.m.? How does that work? I mean, Florida's got millions and like tens of millions of people. It's not a small state. It takes 7-8 hours to drive from the top of Florida to the bottom of Florida. Big state. How do they do it? Or are they interested in doing it? What's going on? What's the problem? Yesterday in Arizona, they're 50% of the vote counted. I don't know what they're at today. 60? 60? Why? What's the problem? Every American citizen, whether an immigrant or born here, has a social security number. It's a number you know, nobody else knows. Now, can you guess a social security number of someone? Sure. Okay, well, let's couple it with a last name, a birth date, maybe an address where you're registered to vote. What about when you're taking out a loan or getting a new credit card and they do a credit check on you and it pops up questions like, have you ever owned one of these vehicles? And you have to pick your car from a list. What's one of your past addresses? And they show you 7 addresses. You have to pick which one you've lived at. It's like, there are definite ways to like verify people in this country. We're not interested in doing it. There are definite ways we could have answers by midnight across the country to what the results are. They're not interested in doing that. It's like why they stand outside of polls and start reporting. It shouldn't be allowed to be reported on. No one should even talk about it until all polls have closed. we make this these epic nights of sitting around watching the results roll in. You're sitting over in California, you're sitting over in Arizona, you're sitting over in Utah. Presidential election, you see it going one way for 3 hours. You still have time to go out and vote. Why would I bother? He's going to win. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to disenfranchise people. Shouldn't be able to suck the wind out of people's choices. Shouldn't be able to yuck their yum before they even put it in their mouth. Doesn't make sense. People in the chat, you could use blockchain technology for voting. Sure. I'm fine with a voting holiday. We pulled Juneteenth out of our butt. Surely we can see that a voting holiday is more necessary. If mail-in ends, we need a voting holiday. I mean, not necessarily. Not if you can do it from your fucking phone with a fingerprint. We're all so handily able to do things with our phones, and we have no problem handing over all of our fucking info and biometric data to Facebook and Apple. Okay. What if every 5 to 10 years you have to go check in with a voting agency? Maybe it's at the DMV. Maybe you do it while you renew your license, just like when you register to vote while you renew your license or when you move. They scan your eye. They scan your thumbprint. You have to have a device that can do a thumbprint or a retina scan. Maybe you buy a device that does that. Maybe they give you a one-time use password, in a capsule that you have to break open, and you can only read it for 5 minutes before it disappears on the paper. I don't know. A digital version of that. Anything. Like, what the fuck? And you need a day off to go vote? No, you don't. We need to figure it out. It's horse shit. It's horse shit. They want it difficult. They want it to be a problem. It makes no sense. So in Arizona, probably going to be Governor Carrie Lake, who's a Republican. She was a newscaster for 27 years. Seems like a normal person. I don't know her. Republican, endorsed by Trump. She won a primary there and called attention to it and said there were some voting irregularities. And everybody calls her names. And it's like, no, she won the primary and still said, I think there was a problem with the election. So now she's going up against a Democrat. And if you know anything about Arizona, it's just like most states, like New York, for example. It's very blue in the cities. It's very red outside of the cities. If you look at a map of Nevada, for instance, it's very blue in Vegas and Reno. The rest of the state is red. If you look at a map of Arizona, you got Phoenix, Tucson, you got cities that are blue, but outside of that, very red. We need receipts with a running tally. Right. I think, the one argument about using blockchain technology, the thing about that is it lets everyone see every vote. That's why that's interesting. You can go find your vote on the blockchain. And maybe you won't download the entire blockchain of votes, but news organizations will. Independent nuts with nothing to do will. Virgin teenage mathematicians will. Students will. Universities will. They'll invent tools that analyze it and can find irregularities with AI. What if there was a running tally? What if you could find your vote on it? What if you could find your neighbor's vote on it? Even if you couldn't see what they voted for. But you could see what you voted for. What about that? Either way, I don't know what would be better. Because I guess you kind of want to see what everybody voted for too. So there has to be a technology invented that allows for viewing of votes that are anonymous, but also, yeah, I guess that's how you'd do it. It all would have to be anonymous, but you'd be able to look up your own. You'd be able to tell which ones were your state. You'd be able to tell which ones were your district. Could sort them by which race, who voted by which race, not which race of person they are. But you know what I mean? I think that would be interesting. But that way you have the receipts with the running tally. I like that idea. I like to take a day off after I vote. Voting takes a lot out of me. I get it, man. I get it. So yeah, I don't know why it would take. I mean, again, Arizona is not even 3/4 of the way counted. We're 48 hours now after the thing. Nevada's at 81% today. What's going on? And then she gives a press conference, Carrie Lake, midday on election day, saying this to reporters.
Minutes of the polls opening up, I started getting people calling, voters in tears, calling my personal polls opening up. I woke up this morning and within minutes of the polls opening up, I started getting people calling, voters in tears, calling my personal number, saying, what's going on? The tabulators aren't working. This is not normal stuff. We don't have to have elections run this way. We switched from a Republican area to vote. We came right down into the heart of liberal Phoenix to vote because we wanted to make sure that we had good machines. And guess what? They've had zero problems with their machines today. So we were right to come and vote in the liberal area. They gotta fix this problem. This is incompetency. I hope it's not malice, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna win. And when we win, there's going to be come to Jesus for elections in Arizona. There's going to be a come to Jesus.
Okay.
Now, it has truly been a mad dash to the finish line for Lake. She's been hitting the campaign trail hard yesterday in Scottsdale, Gilbert, Phoenix, and Prescott. Then last night, she held what she's
going to win.
Down to Arizona.
I don't even think it's going to Arizona. That's funny. So it's not even going to be close. But if even a little bit of this is true, and you've heard this from these other states, and I think it was Michigan in 2020 where, you know, reporters and the press are supposed to be able to watch this stuff happen. And they were putting up poster boards and stuff covering the glass so you couldn't see what was going on in the room where they're bringing in and counting ballots. It's like, I don't care what side you're on. I know you're like a Biden guy, so like, oh, yeah, you don't like it because we won. It's like, does it feel right to be covering up the windows in a room where they're looking through ballots? Does that feel right? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And this flex that the left keeps using over and over, like, you know, these guys all want to count the votes again. These guys all want to look into irregularities. These guys all want to make sure that no voting stuff's going on. It's like, that's not a fucking gotcha, dog. I mean, you don't want to do that stuff? It seems insane to me that people who want to improve the election process and ensure that there's no fuckery going on are being spit on and called kooks. Like, I you know, I don't even want to get into that shit. That's where we're at with all of it. And I think if the election showed us anything, it showed us that this messaging on the left that they've used about protecting democracy and stuff has worked. It's really gripped the left voters, and they really got out and showed themselves. It also a little bit on the right shows that the worry about inflation and stuff, while there, and which did reap a lot of benefits for Republicans in probably the House and the Senate, isn't as strong as they thought it was when it comes to all the Trump shit going on. I think the Trump stuff is a distraction. I don't know how they're going to get away from it. I think he's divisive to the Republican Party, and you could see a situation where either A, Trump wins as an independent if he's ejected from the Republican Party. Trump automatically gets their go-ahead from the Republican Party and eschews DeSantis because they just can't. He's a president. You can't. He's still massively popular with a lot of people who can't let him go. I think you're seeing a lot of Black and Latino voters in across the country who are not happy with the Democratic Party, and they're switching over. And I think you see mostly that the whole process we have of conducting elections, and I think, again, from the debates all the way through the counting of votes, is fucking ridiculous. I don't understand why we can't get on some universal system. I know it'll never work because states have their own budgets and then counties have their own budgets, and these people got the new machines, and it's just like schools, you know what I mean? This school got the new computers, they got the old computers. I want to go to the school with the new whatever. It's like, man, this is like for a country where we spend so much fucking money on garbage. You know, they'll send $80 billion of your dollars to the Ukraine to help with a country which 3 years ago they were accusing of being in bed with Donald Trump and up to something. They hated the Ukraine 3 years ago. Look up articles on the Ukraine. Look up our 2018 and 19 articles on the Ukraine and look how the mainstream media talked about them. And now it's their darling? What's going on? They'll spend $80 billion over there. They'll spend $80 billion to hire IRS agents to look into your gig work. Did you make over $600 on Uber last year? They're after you, and they're using your tax money to make sure you pay more tax money on that little bit of money that you made from your third job. They'll spend all that. Do you think we couldn't overhaul? Do you think there's not a private company out there that couldn't take a shot at overhauling our national elections for $80 billion? You think we couldn't do that? No. It's like, where's the money going? They don't want it easy. They don't want. If it was all instant and you could see it all, there'd be no wiggle room. Whereas now, when they had Biden and Trump in 2020, and it's 50-50 across the nation, no matter what the fucking blue-haired people want to believe, when it's 50-50 like that, all it takes is a few extra of those soldiers out there, like I talked about, willing to do it with the opportunity, with the agenda, and with the balls to nudge it over the line. Throw away some ballots here, tweak a number in a spreadsheet there, pull over on the side of the road here, dump these in a dumpster there. The odds of it getting caught on a grand scale are almost nil because, again, you don't know what you're looking for. A federal voting system sounds liberal. Yeah. I get it, Doc. Maybe one state should vote with pigeons, and maybe one state should vote with smoke signals. Let's make it as hard as possible to do this. And by the way, let's also stop calling out corruption where it doesn't exist. I think Katie Hobbs in Arizona, she's a Secretary of State. She's a current Secretary of State for the state. And or something like that. and she's in charge of the elections. Like, she's election supervisor for the state, and she's running for governor. So she's essentially in charge of the election that she's in. And the Republicans are like, you should recuse yourself. First of all, just based on title alone, maybe you should recuse yourself. Maybe you should go, I'm running in an election, so I probably shouldn't supervise the election. It's like if you're suing your neighbor and you're the judge. Doesn't seem, And you could be like, well, there's a jury, so don't worry about it. It's like you still get to oversee the stuff. It doesn't look good. That's what I'm saying. Like an honorable, good person, I think, would want to distance themselves from it just so there is no question. Now, the way Arizona's set up, from what I understand, is a decentralized voting system. Counties are in charge of their own elections, and that's how it works. They get volunteers. They have their own committees. They're responsible for the functioning of their own machines. So when it comes out, what Carrie Lake says, that there's no problem with the tabulators in Phoenix, in the inner cities, in the blue areas, and then you get out to Republican counties, which are in the suburbs, and none of the tabulators are working. You take your ballot up, and they're like, they can't feed it in the machine, which is what counts it. They tell you to put it in a cardboard box, and they're going to drive them downtown and run them through the machine there. You can't leave there feeling good, right? Right? And I know what you're thinking. Patrick, come on. You can't look for smoke when there's fire. You got to trust people. Again, it takes one or two of these guys in every county to go like, pull over here and let's dump these. It's like, if you're supposed to put it in the machine here and I'm supposed to see the number tick up and you're like, the machines aren't working. It's like, first of all, these machines need to work one day a year, one day every 2 years. How's it? What's going on? There was no dry run of this. So you're telling me I put it in a box and you're going to take it downtown and count it later? It doesn't inspire confidence. It doesn't feel great. I get an I voted sticker, but I don't feel like I should put it on for a few hours if I really haven't. So it is that, I think it is these, even if they're edge cases, situations that cause voters to just give up hope in the whole system. Because in these cases, if that's happening, there is a window in between when I vote and when my vote is tabulated or counted. Hours or days sometimes. All that time, changing locations, moving around, being stacked up over here, moved over there. Like, it just creates questions. It just creates opportunities. So I'm not, I don't begrudge people for being like, hey, we need to overhaul this. And feel free to be like, sounds liberal. I mean, fine. The numbers are in this morning. CPI index breakdown for October 2022. Everything you're going to see today is going to tell you this is good. Every headline you're going to read is going to tell you inflation is cooling off. That's the word they're using. Inflation is cooling off. Numbers better than expected. Stock market rallying, which, by the way, is that still going this morning? All green, banging on the stock market. Let's have a look now. Yeah, they're loving it. At least the NASDAQ is rallying. The S&P is rallying. So everything's going up. They're all green. Dow Jones, they're all green. And this is the first time this week. I mean, it's been bad this week. And we'll get into crypto in a minute. But the consumer price index jumped 7.7% in October versus a year ago. So it was 8. Now it's 7.7. They're going to have you believe that's a big improvement. We're going down. It's 4 times the goal still. Just so you know, we do shoot for 2% in this country of inflation year over year. We're at almost 8. It ain't great. This whole narrative of it's cooling. Here it is. Both were cooler than expected, a sign that inflation may be moderating. However, consumer prices still rising quickly by historical standards. Right. By historical standards, it's garbage. You know, you can't have a house that's on fire and then like put out a lamp with your hose and be like, see how cool it is in here? It's cooling. It's a better fucking metaphor than I thought it would be, huh? Nailing it. A lot of people are saying this. Inflation was cooler than expected in October, although household staples such as shelter, food, and energy remained among the largest contributors to consumer prices still rising at a historically fast pace, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics said Monday. Inflation is a measure of how quickly the prices for consumers for a broad range of goods are rising. Look at this chart. So while they're going to tell you today that everything is cooling, things are going great, you made the right choice on Tuesday, Biden's steering the ship in the right direction, look at these numbers. Food at work and school is up 95.2% year over year. You are paying 100% more for food on the go. Eggs are up 50%. 43. Airline fares are up 43%. Butter is up 34%. Public transportation is up 28%. I just saw today that they're going to raise the subway prices. They're going to raise a lot of these prices for Uber is getting a base fare jump. Airlines are getting some new fees, I think, that are going to contribute. Public transportation, 28%. Health insurance, 20%. 21%. Utility, gas service, 20%. We're heading into the winter. In the Northeast, they've already put restrictions on how much energy houses can use to heat themselves. You're not only going to have a problem with the energy costs, they're going to eventually tell you, just like California's telling you, don't charge your electric car. By the way, buy an electric guitar. Buy an electric guitar. Fucking hell. Buy an electric car immediately, but don't charge this weekend. The grid's stressed. Give it a week. Charge it between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. if you can. That'd be great. So your gas prices are up 20% this winter. That's going to be fun. Gasoline is up 17.5%. Roasted coffee, 16%. Pet food is up 15%. A bag of my dog food, Hill's Science Diet, was $59. It now costs me $76. $76 for a bag of dog food. Unreal. They want to convince you it's good and it's cooling. It's like, it's going to take 2 years for it to cool back to acceptable. So like, pardon us, Dr. President, for not getting hyped about 0.3% drop year over year inflation when it's astronomical. Milk, 15%. Bread, 15%. Poultry, 15%. Frozen fruits and vegetables, 14%. Electricity, 14%. Motor vehicle insurance, 13%. Cheese, 13%. Living room, kitchen, dining room, furniture, 11%. That's horseshit. I went and bought 2 stools for a kitchen island. They were $1,200. There was $1,200 a stool. By the time they came, they were $1,600. Stools per. It's bananas. At a coffee table, the same thing, I pre-ordered it for $425. By the time it came, and I locked in the price, but by the time it came, that same coffee table was going for $1,100. It was like, the economy is wonked, dog. Because availability, too, Availability was a problem. And so all these retail stores, in anticipation of the way things have been the past 2 holiday seasons, have massively pre-ordered merchandise. Well, people's spending power has crashed. People's cash on hand has crashed. And you can go into a Dollar General store or a Walmart now, and there's pallets in the halls, in the walkways. You can't get to the bathroom anymore. It's to the ceiling. They've ordered too much shit. They're marking it down. Employees are quitting. They're overwhelmed at these retail stores. Corporate's putting pressure on the district managers. District managers putting pressure on store managers. Store managers are taking it all out on the staff, on the retail staff, who are making not enough money to live on and dealing with all this extra stress, so they quit. So there's no one to stock these shelves. It's piling up. This is a big, big problem. They can't get rid of merchandise. And how could they not? Everybody was buying like crazy. But everything's lagging, and it's like we have no one with a crystal ball. Someone in the chat said Jerome Powell should have been fired a long time ago. It's like, yes. Yeah, yes. This guy couldn't react any slower to stuff. And by the way, he's about to fucking jerk the whip the other way too hard. This jackass jacks it up 3/4 last week. He's issued the warning. He's not slowing down. He's going to keep pumping it up. I'd imagine we'll see another half, another 3/4, maybe even a whole point raise into the year. And before you know it, it's going to be 10%, 11% to get a mortgage. Meanwhile, everyone's saying, like, inflation's coming down. Used cars are cheaper. Houses are cheaper. It's like they're cheaper because no one can afford one. This isn't good. It's not like, Kia's awesome. You can get a Hyundai for $9,999. It's not that. It's not good. It's not, flat screen TVs are only $188 at Walmart for Black Friday. It's not that. It's used cars are rock bottom right now because no one is buying cars and they have to be. It's because they're so cheap because people need them to be or they won't buy cars because everyone's fucking broke. Savings for Americans has never been lower. Credit card debt for Americans has never been higher. It's real rubber meets the road shit right now, dog. I think the politicians' policies and actions are more disheartening than potential voter fraud. That could mean anything. So yeah, I don't know how you begin fixing this other than stop fucking doing dramatic things to the economy and the supply of money in this country. The small businesses, God bless them, are just collapsing. The big businesses are collapsing. It's wild out there, man. It's wild. Michael G says exactly. Even in LA, you finally see apartments available at somewhat decent prices because they've crushed the middle class and no one is there anymore. Same in Vegas. Apartment prices are finally coming down a little bit. But again, it's only because they're empty. San Francisco has never had more empty homes. San Francisco was always the tightest real estate market in the country, just ahead of New York City, just ahead of it, where the vacancy rate was under 1% a lot of the time, meaning less than 1% of the available housing units in the area were unoccupied. That's the flip. So you're waiting on very few numbers of apartments to come available. So when you have to move, you don't have much supply. The demand is so fucking high. Millions of empty homes in San Francisco right now. No one can afford to live there. And by the way, every friend I have who lives in Northern California loves it, doesn't know what I'm talking about, couldn't be happier, thinks it's great. It's like, you've got men with hammers banging on people, dog. You know what I mean? You've got shit in the streets. I have friends getting their cars broken into all the time. Just part of life. We're all just supposed to deal. I don't know the answers, man, but I don't have them. I'm a comedian. But you better wake the fuck up and get off your partisan pulpit. Because this shit's getting wackadoo, man. And you might be more one side than the other, and that's fine. But I'm telling you right now, both of them are running in weird directions. You don't want to be on board with everybody in these weird directions. Can we talk? Let's move on to something really funny that I found really funny. Sean Penn gives his Oscar to Ukrainian President Zelensky as a symbol of faith until the end of the war. First of all, fucking hilarious. I like Sean Penn as an actor. It's fine, but I don't know how much more of a scramble for relevance people like him and Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon, all these fucking activists who it's like your career is cooling off. You were amazing. Your career's cooling off, and then you just turn into nuts. It's like Kathy Griffin. Like y'all just didn't have work, so you stayed home and let TikTok just earworm your brain into mush. How much time are these people spending over there in this hellhole? You know, this racist hellhole. Watch how they talk. Go back and find. Could I find it right now just to show you how they used to talk about Zelensky? I can't look it up live. We don't have the time. Go back and Google how they talked about Zelensky in the Ukraine when Trump was. They hated it. They hate it. He's with Trump. He's corrupt. Deals. Former comedian, president, blah, 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 piece of shit. Then he turned into your shirtless hero. He was Rambo on the cover of the DVD for all of you. If Sean Penn shows up your house with gifts, bowing, in a fucking white robe, you can tell you're in trouble. He's like a white version of who's the black opportunist vulture lawyer? Fuck. That would have been a great zinger had I nailed it and stuck the landing. But I didn't. You know who I'm talking about? That fucking Sean brought his Oscar statuette as a symbol of faith and victory to our country. It will be in the Ukraine till the end of the war. So he gave his Oscar. First of all, did Sean Penn only have one Oscar? Because that's... Mwah. He gave it to him, but he has to give it back after the war. Steven Seagal, thank you. Yes, that is the guy I was talking about. Look at this. Look at this video. This is one of the most cringe things ever. It's like both of them are scrambling for ratings. Ukraine and Sean Penn. Al Sharpton. Thank you, Alex Ansel. Thank you. Yeah, Is Sean Penn the white Al Sharpton? Like, what's going on? You just have to get on a plane and fly immediately to anywhere that's having trouble. And by the way, you know, this guy's constantly just taking time out for Instagram and celebrities. How bad is this war? If I was president, I'd be like, no more money if you have time for meeting Sean Penn and Instagramming. We thought this was serious. We've been sending you missiles. We're sending you billions of dollars. Elon Musk is giving you access to the Starlink network for internet access, for safety for your people. What have you used it for? Oh, we're doing the gram a lot. I've been doing mostly the gram. Have you seen my new Oscar? Get to war. Get to war. Get to war. We didn't send you all this money for not war. Get to war. Sean Penn's a hero between Ukraine and beating the shit out of Madonna. He's someone we should all aspire to be. I want to look into these charges. Watch this cringe video. You're not gonna believe it. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if taxpayer money was involved in all this.
Hi, Sean. Nice to meet you.
Great to see you again.
You're looking good.
Thank you. Because I'm too busy to be out there. This is for you.
No, Sean.
Yes.
No.
Please.
That is yours.
No, I feel terrible outside. It's just a symbolic, silly thing.
Yes, but
if I know this is here with you, then I'll feel better and stronger for the fight.
So great talk.
I'll feel better and stronger for the fight? I mean, I have something for you. And then I love that Zelensky's like, oh no, Sean, he's too much. Like, what the fuck? Are you still changing your flag on your phone, everybody? By the way, if you did it in the first place, you're already a boob I don't want to know. But these people who still have BLM and Ukraine and all this stuff in their fucking profile picture, pay attention much? Holy fuck. Imagine thinking there's a war going on in a series, it's all serious, and watching this. I'd be like, oh, I thought this was real. My bad. It's just horse shit.
But until we will.
When you win, bring it back to Malibu.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Because I'll feel.
What do you? When you win, bring it back to Malibu. Yeah, we'll all hang out on my beachfront patio and just smoke some hot dogs. We'll have some cigars and laugh about the time we were at war. Bring my Oscar back to Malibu. I bet you won't have to. Sean Penn will be back in 3 months. Could I get my Oscar back? I brought you some hard candy instead. My mantle looks a bit empty. You can still come visit me in Malibu, but I would really like... I mean, god damn. Imagine having written a check, $10, $15. You know, you don't make much money, but you wanted to give to the Ukrainian people and the war effort. How dangerous is it? This guy's on the run. He's got to be like, quick, get to my Oscar. Zelensky, they're going to bomb here any minute. We have to get out of here. Cool, pack my to-go bag. Don't forget the Oscar. I promised Sean Penn I'd be in the Malibu. I don't know how to do accents, but this is so hard and cringe to watch.
I feel much better knowing there's a piece of me here.
We have to be.
I feel much better knowing there's a piece of me here. Oops, you said the quiet part out loud. You know? Way to boil it right down to your narcissism. This guy's the president of a country who's being invaded by one of the world powers, okay? That's what's going on, just to set the stage. You're not only going over there distracting from that and making it about you, but then you say, I'll feel better about your war. I'm not going to be here. But I'll feel better if this little gold meaningless statue is here with you.
Some moment which is very important. It's not from me. It's from Ukraine. That is more important than not only from me. Yeah, please.
The President of Ukraine for outstanding Thank you.
Okay, so they pose with this photo. They pose with the Zelensky gives Sean Penn the Order of Merit of the Third Degree, an honor given for outstanding service. Okay. Just in case you wanted to know how much horseshit all of this was. Okay. So Zelensky now has an Oscar. Sean Penn has an award for outstanding service, which he got for giving Zelensky his Oscar. For a minute. What's going on? Order of service. I'm sorry. Did Harvey Milk win the Ukraine war? Am I unaware of something? Hello? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Two grown men meet during a world catastrophe to exchange meaningless trinkets of metal. All right. Where was this? Out on the battlefield? No. In a banquet room connected to the internet on the gram. Oh. So the war is over, like they won. This was like a celebration of, no. It's still ongoing and costing the American people millions of dollars a day. Oh. So why is Sean Penn over there? I don't know. I'm making a move. Okay. Fuck. This is where we're at, everybody. This is where we're at. You can't make it up. You can't lie. But God, I love to watch it all burn. Tom Brady's in trouble. And no, I'm not talking about the Buccaneers season for once. As reported by the New York Post, Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen now caught up in the FTX collapse. If you don't know, if you're not invested in crypto, you might not have noticed Bitcoin crashed very hard down to like $15,000. It had been riding pretty steadily between 21 and 23,000, which is pretty steady for lately for Bitcoin. It crashed down to 15,000. Apparently there was some unscrupulous behavior going on at a crypto exchange called FTX. Basically, FTX was faced with a liquidity crunch after FTT, which is their token, their coin, which the exchange issues. And by the way, if you're new to crypto, let me give you a couple just real quick tips, okay? Buy and hold Bitcoin, I would say. I'm not a financial analyst, advisor, advice. Don't listen to me. I know nothing. That being said, here's what you do. I buy Bitcoin only if you're a noob, okay? Don't worry about it. Buy Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin, full disclosure, every week. And have for years. Every Tuesday, I buy Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what the price is. I buy Bitcoin. I did this when it was 60,000. I do this when it's 15,000. Doesn't matter. I buy the same amount every Tuesday, regardless of price. That's what I believe. That's what I do. These exchanges that like make up their own tokens and issue their own tokens, sus. You know what I mean? Sus. All of them, by the way. All of them. Because a lot of times people don't understand how they work, especially these Ethereum tokens. These EC20s. These Ethereum tokens are like smart contracts, and people get roped into this stuff all the time. And they don't even understand how a coin works. They just think there's coins. I'm buying some of them. They'll go up in value as more people want them. Whereas, like, no, the owner can make as many for themselves as they want. They're the ones selling them to you, so they're the ones making money. They're all like rug pulls and scams, you know? And I'm not saying like big established exchanges are that, but why invest in an exchange's coin? What utility? They'll try to make some utility, you know, out of it. This is the equivalent of like you going to the state fair and instead of you buying a beer, you have to buy a beer token, and then you take the beer token to the beer tent. It's like, why? What are we doing? Well, I don't know. Somebody has a token company and they needed, you know, they're in bed with the carnival people. Like, I don't know. There was a parking garage in Tampa. The company, how they did it was you bring you get a ticket when you park, paper ticket, and then you go to your thing. On the way back, you put your paper ticket in a machine, you pay, you get a yellow coin with an NFC smart chip in it, and then you take that to your car, and on the way out, you put that chip into the machine so it raises the gate and lets you out. It's just like, what are we doing? And then they got rid of it immediately because people would lose the chips or damage the chips or the chips break or what are we doing? So another exchange, Binance, was going to buy out this exchange, FTX. And I guess that didn't work out. They just like their own coin, FTT, crashed insanely hard. And that foiled confidence in it. And it caused a rush into other coins out of that coin. So Binance, this other exchange, was going to bail them out. Apparently that deal didn't go through after due diligence fell through. But, you know, it begs the question, all these celebrities are getting involved with these crypto deals. We've seen everybody from Larry David to Steph Curry to Mark Cuban and Tom Brady hawking, shilling for these either crypto exchanges or for certain coins. And I feel like it could ruin your reputation. You don't know what you're getting into. I mean, this was nothing. This was a giant tumble. Giselle and Tom Brady, if they hadn't exited out of this and sold their FTT coin, who knows how they were compensated for this? Millions they could have lost. Millions. And then these were all the commercials. They were all trying to get you to sign up on the Super Bowl. Remember these ads?
Talk to you about something?
Yeah, we talked about it. I got another 10 years left. Maybe 15.
Not that. This is big. What do you think? Are you in?
You know what? I'm in. Let's call everyone.
Hang on a minute. How dare you call this number? Okay, I'm in. Whatever.
Who's that?
That was my mom.
Hey, Donut, don't eat that.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm in.
I'm in. Hey, Arthur, I quit.
I'm in.
T-Bone, is it the downstairs toilet again?
Hello, Tom. Doggy coin? Sue, Mark.
Are you in?
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. All right, this last one might be tough.
Nah, he loves you.
Probably just getting another dentist. This guy. First, even if you wanted to come back, we wouldn't take you.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, we would.
You're right, we would. What's up?
I'm getting into crypto with FTX. You in?
We'll provide Inc. gives 360-degree access to the crypto markets with the ability to trade everything from alts to DeFi. I believe I'm in, but still hate you.
Understood.
Take care. Best of the family.
Is he in?
Yep,
Did he say he hates you?
he did.
Even on the phone, that guy sounds handsome.
So I guess Tom Brady has to call all those fucking people and apologize now. Did you lose all those people money? you fuck. And a lot of times what these companies do, like there's so many ways to do it. So like, I don't know the specifics of what was happening with FTX, but you know, people are pouring real money into your exchange to buy crypto. It's just like any other giant rug pull. You're showing people have this in their account. You don't actually have that asset. And you're shell gaming it all into your own token that you've made, FTT, pretending that this thing has value based on what? The profit you're making, or you investing other people's stuff or whatever. But then people try to withdraw and realize it's not working, or you want to pull out a large sum of your FTT and move it into something else, and then FTT collapses because there's no value to it really at all. You've been just stealing your customers' assets. There's so many ways for this to like be a scam. So you can not even be invested in FTT and have lost a lot of your money here. And unfortunately, Bitcoin loses tons of value because people panic and sell, and the media writes articles about how it's a scam, and this is the end of Bitcoin and the crashing of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, it's people with no understanding of anything about how anything works. So yeah, I would hope Tom Brady would have some sort of money person who's smarter than me, and he wouldn't have been just floating this exchange. But who knows? A lot of these guys don't. Do you think Steph Curry knows what he's doing when he's, bored 8 yacht clubbing NFTs? Like, no. Like, these guys just hear buzzwords, They get hooked up with some young entrepreneur who tells them, like, this is the next big thing. They don't know. Their name's attached to it. They're getting fucked over just as hard as the customers. So keep your head on a swivel for this stuff. Stop investing in the next big thing that you don't really understand. It's not going to bode well for you, okay? How'd it work out with the egg wave? Remember that? This is the thing you put your egg in and it microwaves it with your cell phone. Look at so many people Googling right now to see if that's a real device. Yeah, just don't throw your money at shit you don't really understand. And desperate people do this too. I took my last 1,000 and I threw it into YOLO. It's like, oh. If you're watching on YouTube, this is where we're going to say sayonara to you. You've had a free preview. We got a lot of stuff to get to yet today, and we'll be over on Rokfin. If you're watching on Rokfin, we'll be continuing. If you'd like to watch PM in the AM, it will not normally be here on YouTube, okay? That's not going to happen a lot. So if you want to watch it, this is going to be an exclusive show over on Rokfin. Head over there now, ROKFIN.com/S. Jesus, fuck. ROKFIN.com/NLO. Click on the PM and the AM. You will have to sign up, but just know that I get a big share of your sign up money. So thank you for supporting me over there. Of course, I always love your support on the Overdose, which is available at nobodylikesonions.com/overdose. Use promo code THANKS to save 10% today. All Overdose members get access to PM and the AM. You will just not get access to it live. It will come over your feed. You could stream it from the website later on, but it'll be significantly later on, usually the week after. So if you want access to live PM and the AM just like this every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9 a.m., you want to participate live in the chat, you want to hang out and support the show, ROKFIN.com, Rokfin.com/NLO. Come see me over there. If not, I'll see you tonight. Nobody Likes Onions, 10 p.m. here on YouTube. And this is where I bid you goodbye, YouTube. I'm so sorry about this, okay? Thank you. We should have some real severance moment, like a logo or something, where it's like, get out of here, YouTubes. You know?